I was just lost mentally. Like I was so lost. Question I want you all to think about and just ask yourself. Are you willing to sacrifice in order to become a nurse? That is a question that I don't think that many people think about when it comes to nursing. Many people don't truly understand what it is like to sacrifice for something that you are passionate about. But that is what nursing takes. It takes true sacrifice and selflessness. I'd like to start this video with a prayer over everyone that is watching. I truly feel that you have clicked on this video because something about it is going to resonate with you. Something about it is going to be exactly what you need to hear in this moment in time. So if you all will, just take a moment, turn off your devices, and just be present with me as I pray. God, I ask that you help me to surrender to your voice and your guidance during this time. During this time of me creating this video for my audience to watch. Lord, that your message, Lord, and your guidance, Lord, and your strength, Lord. I ask that you are able to touch these people that are watching this video, Lord. That you are able to inspire them, Lord. And they are able to call on you in those moments, Lord, where they feel like they have nowhere else to turn to, Lord. Lord, anytime that anything is getting very difficult for them in their nursing experience, Lord, maybe in nursing school, Lord, or maybe in their job in their hospital environment, Lord, that you are able to guide them along that path, Lord, that they turn to you for guidance, Lord. Lord, I ask that you just bless everyone that is watching this video, Lord. Lord, that you help them at any time of need, Lord, anything that they're going through, Lord, that you help them, Lord, you touch them, Lord, and you guide them, Lord. You give them strength of the Holy Spirit, Lord. They know that they can turn to you when anything is going good or anything is going bad in their life, Lord. Lord, they always call upon you, Lord. They always turn to you, Lord. God, I pray that you continue to uplift this community of nurses, Lord, and aspiring nurses on my platform, Lord. And you help us to continue to create an uplifting, Lord, and a motivating environment, Lord, that we all communicate with each other, Lord, in this community, Lord, on this YouTube channel, Lord. Lord, that we inspire each other, Lord, that we speak kindly to each other, Lord, that we uplift each other in our own journeys, Lord, in our own testimonies, our own failures, Lord, our own shortcomings, Lord. Lord, that you just continue to build that, Lord, and grow this community in that, and grow this community in that spirituality, that faithfulness, Lord, in you, Lord, that whenever they're having hard times, they're able to turn to you, Lord. Lord, I ask you this in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. That's a good prayer. Really good prayer. Alright, so let's backtrack a little bit. It wasn't until after I left the hospital, it was shortly after I got married. So I left the hospital and I actually stopped drinking alcohol for a period of time because I really had this major revelation that happened in my life, and it led me to just completely stopping drinking alcohol and leaving the hospital environment. And I just felt like what that true meaning of why I created this YouTube channel. So I created this YouTube channel originally because there were so many people that I knew in the hospital environment, and so many of them were complaining about, their circumstance. They were burnt out, which is definitely a true thing. And I feel like a lot of them didn't really have anywhere to turn to. They didn't really have many options, or maybe the options didn't pay enough, whatever the case may have been. And I truly created this YouTube channel because I wanted to create a safe space for nurses to come to be vulnerable, to create a community where we're not feeling like we're being bullied by anyone, especially in the work environment. I think the work environment, especially in the hospital, can be very negative at times because you have people from all different walks of life, all different ages, different circumstances in the nursing field. You have millennial nurses that are working with baby boomer nurses. So it's just a whole lot of it's a lot of different age groups. And I think that I wanted to create a safe space for nurses to come to of all different walks of life, to be able to communicate with each other, to be vulnerable with each other, to share experiences with each other, and just feel like there is a community within nursing. And I really haven't felt that from nursing school all the way up until working in the hospital. I didn't really feel that aspect, in my opinion. So that was really truly why I wanted to create my channel. Originally, for those of you guys who have been subscribed to me for a period of time, you guys know that I started my channel based off of aesthetic nursing and just kind of getting into that realm. But yeah, I originally started off my my nursing career as a cardiac step-down nurse. I did ER for like a couple months as a new grad. Then I went to cardiac step-down and then back to ER. So for the most part, that is where my experience kind of, you know, started at. But then I left the hospital to do aesthetic nursing, and then I went back to the hospital for ER again, and now I went back out of the hospital, which is where I am now. So to catch you guys up a little bit, that is where most of my experience kind of comes from. So for those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for a long time, you guys know that I've shared my experience and my testimony regarding failing the NCLEX. I also failed my first semester of nursing school. So I really am very transparent about that and like my journey as a nurse. I don't shy away from that. Those are things that have made me who I am today. They have brought me to where I am today. And I'm thankful for those experiences because I truly feel like it built a level of confidence in me to rely on my own knowledge, to rely on myself, to be prayerful in those moments of failures when I didn't have anyone else I could turn to. Like, I just prayed about it, and I really truly feel like that God helped me through those moments because I was about to quit. Like, I was about to be done with nursing school. I was about to be like, forget this, you know, this is a sign from God that this is not where I'm supposed to be. But I really think that in those dark moments, you should turn to God. Like, you should turn to a higher power to help you get through those things because you cannot do it by yourself. So let's go back to 2020. I feel like that the pandemic truly showed a lot of darkness within the nursing field and then a lot of darkness within humanity. I feel like that nurses didn't really realize how bad there were people out there. Like, we had a couple bad patients here and there, but there's really a lot of darkness out there within humanity. And I just applaud so many nurses, including myself, because we are truly selfless. We are truly forgiving nurses. A lot of nurses, you know, kept working throughout COVID and just continuing to sacrifice for their patients and advocate for their patients. Even when the world was absolutely chaos, we still were forgiving. We were still very selfless and sacrificial. And I just applaud so many nurses in that aspect because that's not something that's easy to do. But the repercussion and the consequences of being selfless and being sacrificial was that a lot of that load and a lot of that sadness we had to take home with us. So that's the part of nursing that a lot of people won't talk about, is the mental health aspect. And I'm finding that a lot of nurses are now talking about it a lot more because it's truly an issue. Like, it's truly a problem. I think that's where I'm going with this, is that you have to decide between inpatient and outpatient. Like, do you want to work in the hospital? What is your goals, you know, for nursing? Or do you feel like that you want to do outpatient? Just kind of deciding between the two, because ultimately it is your decision. Ultimately, it's a big decision to make. I just want to give you a couple options, a couple experiences, and kind of just share my personal view on it. So, yeah. Alright, so let's talk about inpatient nursing versus outpatient nursing and just kind of the experience of it and just kind of helping you decide between the two. So a little bit about me. As I told you guys before, I started out as an inpatient nurse working cardiac step-down and ER. And I truly think working inpatient helped me to build my personal skills, like my skill set, my critical thinking skills, my confidence with patients, confidence within myself to make decisions. I think it really led to a lot of that confidence within myself as a nurse. And I truly feel like that is something that you definitely gain from working in the hospital. I don't know that if you worked outpatient, you would gain that same type of experience. I've never worked outpatient before I worked inpatient, so I don't have that, you know, that parallel or that comparison. But I personally just feel like that working inpatient, at least for a year, helps you gain that experience and helps you gain that kind of confidence within yourself, and then confidence within making decisions for your patients. I think you also have to think about, what is your career goal? Like, do you want to be a nurse practitioner? Do you want to work in the cath lab? Do you want to be an aesthetic nurse? Do you want to do infusion nursing? You kind of have to figure out what your couple year kind of plan is. Maybe not a 5-year plan, because 5 years is kind of far ahead, but at least like your 3-year plan for sure. You kind of want to figure out what your 3-year plan is if you decide to go back to school, or if you want to work outpatient, or if you want to do like a little 9-to-5 cath lab type of feel. Deciding what you want to do is definitely important, because you don't want to just go inpatient and then be wasting your time, or go outpatient and then be wasting your time. I do truly need you to understand that working in the hospital hospital definitely has a lot of darkness. And I think that that is something that is pretty well known. Working in the hospital, it is definitely not a field or a job that I feel like is long-term anymore. Like back in the day, like in the 80s and the 90s when nursing was totally different, I think that people worked in the hospital for a long period of time. They had pensions that they were retiring from, and things were just a lot more different. And I think now, I don't want to keep blaming COVID, but I really think that COVID just kind of like, it just opened stuff wide open. Like it just kind of like amplified everything. Like what was done in the dark was coming to the light, that kind of aspect. Like I just feel like that COVID was so good for a lot of nurses. I know I might sound crazy, but I really think COVID was really good for a lot of nurses because it truly helped us see what our worth was. And a lot of nurses were not standing for what they were once standing for before. You know, like I feel like that a lot of nurses were like, like I deserve more, I don't deserve this, you know, you pay me this. Like we just had a lot more autonomy and a lot more control with what we were asking for. So I do think that COVID, although it was crazy, obviously, like it's crazy to think that that was 4 years ago, but I really truly feel like that COVID was bringing a lot of stuff that was happening in the dark to the light, and that was what we needed to see as nurses. I think COVID really helped nurses advocate for themselves in a lot of different aspects. I think that it just helped us gain a lot of confidence. It helped us to put our foot down in situations with patients and with like managers and what our expectations were. So on the good side, while being an inpatient nurse definitely has a lot of darkness and a lot of downsides to it, I don't think that I would be where I am today with my confidence and my skill set. I mean, I'm like so great, amazing, one stick wonder when it comes to doing IVs. Like I learned that experience on the job. Like I learned that in ER, you know, I learned that as an ER tech, you know, so I think that with that inpatient experience, you learn so much, like so much. It's an overwhelming amount of knowledge. And I do think that if not all, I think most nurses should probably get at least 1 year of hospital experience, because I really think that that helps to build confidence within you as a nurse. And it shows if you don't have that. It shows if you are not confident in your skill set because you just got out of nursing school and you're trying to go outpatient nurse or be an aesthetic nurse and you don't know what to do when someone passes out. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying that that is very scary. Like you don't know what to do when someone passes out. Like when they get lightheaded, you don't know and check their blood sugar. You don't know, check pulse, make sure they're not unconscious. That's scary. So I think that that is something that a lot of nurses probably don't think about that are just graduating nursing school. I really do want to push that it is definitely necessary, in my opinion, to have at least 1 year of hospital experience. Whether that's labor and delivery, whether that's med-surg, whether that's ER, ICU, I think you need at least 1 year for sure. But I do think that working inpatient is definitely a short-lived opportunity. I definitely feel like it has a time limit on it. A lot of nurses, especially like millennials and Gen Z nurses, are totally realizing that within the first 2 years of working in the hospital. Like, I gotta make something shake because this ain't it, okay? I cannot stay here for 3 to 5 years or more like a lot of people are doing, you know, that are older than you as nurses. Like, this is temporary. So I'm very proud of you all that are keeping that mindset, is that hospital nursing is definitely like short-lived, and go find something else because this ain't it. It's just not it. So, all right, so fast forward to today. I am an outpatient nurse and I love it. I love it, you guys. Like, I just thank God because I just absolutely love it. Like, oh my gosh. I can't say enough about it. Like, I love being an outpatient nurse. I love being an infusion nurse. Like, it's just chef's kiss. Like, it's just amazing. Like, I love it. I mean, I love it. So, to share that, I became an infusion nurse back in December. So I found this job. I feel like I've done a video about this. I'll plug the video here too for you guys so that you can click on it and learn more. But just to kind of, you know, sum it all up, I became an infusion nurse in December. I left the hospital. I had that revelation back in November. The revelation was basically that I got absolutely wasted, drunk, and was just so unhappy. Like, I feel like that I was bottling so much up mentally, and it would not show until I became intoxicated. And that's truly what led me to wanting to stop drinking alcohol completely. Plus a spiritual awakening that I had, come upon. I truly feel like that I was just lost mentally. Like I don't want to get emotional about it, but I was just so lost. I was so lost. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was so lost. It's crazy to think that that was only 6 months ago. Sorry guys. But I was just so lost. Mentally, I was so lost. I just felt like that, I felt like that there was no way out. I felt like that this was the way I was supposed to cope with it, was to just get lost. Just get lost in what was going on. And not talking about what was going on. And I feel like that there's so many nurses that are going through the same thing. I just want this video and just my presence, and that's the whole reason why I wanted to pray in the beginning of this video, was because I wanted, oh my goodness, woo, I'm sorry. That is the whole reason why I wanted to pray in the beginning of this video, because I really wanted to bless this community. I really wanted to pray over this community, because there's so much that we're going through mentally as nurses that we don't talk about, and we're self-coping with alcohol or marijuana or men or women, whatever the case may be. We're self-coping in some sort of way, and it's not helping. It's not helping. There is no joy in your life right now. Like, you may be happy for a moment, but there's no joy. And let me be a true revelation, or a true example of absolute joy. Like, I am so happy working as an infusion nurse. Like, I'm so happy that I only work 3 days a week. For the most part, I work like 24 to 30 hours a week, like if I want to. I make my own schedule. I can leave at 2 p.m. if I want to. I can leave at 4 p.m. if I want to. Like, I just have so much independence. I have a healthy work environment. I pretty much work by myself. If not, I work with one other nurse who also works by herself at her own office. So it's amazing. Like, I have great, sweet, lovely patients. They're all so sweet. I just thank God. I'm so grateful to God for finding this job. Like, I'm so grateful to God. That is who I owe it all to. And I would not be in the place I am right now if it weren't for God. Infusion nursing truly saved my mental health. As you can see, I got so emotional about it. I couldn't even get through talking about it, because it truly saved my mental health. Like, I really don't know where I would have been. I was going down a bad path. Working in the hospital with diet and exercise. Like, I was gaining so much weight. I just didn't feel confident within myself. I had a lot of self-esteem problems, and just low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, you name it. Like, it was a lot. I thank God for my husband, because if my husband didn't tell me that, it's okay, like, you can leave the hospital. I get that you're making a lot of money, but this money is not worth your mental health. Like, you're not happy. You are literally just going through the motions. Which is exactly what a lot of nurses are doing. It's just that they're just going through the motions. They're just showing up because they have to. I'm just here to tell you that you don't have to. You don't have to. Like, there's so many other options. Outpatient, if you feel like you've gotten to the point where you feel absolutely lost and you have nowhere to turn to, like, understand that you have so many options. So many options. You do not have to stay there. You do not have to put up with what you're putting up with. You don't. You do not. Let me give you permission that you do not have to keep putting up with this. You don't. You deserve so much better. Alright, y'all. Since I'm done crying, let's recenter ourselves a little bit. So let's talk about infusion nursing. Infusion nursing has truly allowed me to be able to get back to my health and fitness journey. So now I work out like probably about 3 or 4 times a week. I'm very consistent when it comes to that. My diet has truly improved. My skin has improved. I know I really don't have a whole lot of like acne breakouts, but my skin was definitely taking a hit when it came to working night shift in the hospital because there's no food options. Like there's nothing healthy to eat. Like unless you pack your lunch and are consistent with packing your lunch on day 1, day 2, and day 3. Because I worked 3 in a row. So, like I worked night shift 3 in a row. So that second to third day, I was not eating healthy. I wasn't. Like most nurses don't eat healthy when they're on night shift. I don't know many that do unless they're like consistent and they've had a workout routine before. I don't know. That's just me. Yeah, my diet and my exercise has really improved. I'm eating regularly instead of like, eating at really odd times because of working night shift. You're eating at like 3 in the morning. You're eating at like 5 in the morning. My sleep habits improved. I'm able to sleep throughout the night. I don't wake up throughout the night. Like I'm able to sleep, get a great 8 hours rest with no issues. It's just so many benefits to not working night shift and not working in the hospital. So in addition to working outpatient as an infusion nurse, my relationship and my marriage has truly improved. Like I wouldn't say that it was like on the rocks or anything like that, because I don't think we've ever been like that. My vulnerability, I think that he truly saw all of that once I left the hospital. I feel like when I was in the hospital, I was bottling so much up that I was just letting it out. Like I was just blowing up. I had no regulation at all. Like I was just very hot and cold. And it was probably because I was irritable. I was not eating correctly. I was not working out. So I wasn't confident in my body. A lot of things. I was drinking wine because I had a long shift or I had a rough day because I was just self-coping. Like I was self-coping with what I was going through in that moment in time, and it wasn't improving anything else around me. It was literally just putting a band-aid on it. It was actually worsening everything else around me because I was not coping in the correct or the healthiest way. So once I was able to kind of relinquish that control and give a lot of that to God and just pray on it, I really think that that is what has released me from so much pain and so much bottled up emotion, that I'm able to now 6 months later be able to talk about it and be happy about the fact that I'm alcohol free, and I have been alcohol free for over 6 months, and just kind of like my experience when it comes to it. I don't want to seem like I'm bashing inpatient nursing and that it has all this darkness associated with it. I'm trying to warn all of my new grads, all of my people who are in nursing school, that understand that inpatient nursing or working in the hospital is kind of, for the most part, short-lived, especially if you know that you want to do something outpatient. Just use it as a tool to like gain your experience, to develop your interpersonal skills, develop your skills within nursing, and whether you like want to be great at doing IVs or whatever the case may be. Just use it as a tool. Don't let it consume you, because it truly can. I've been a nurse for 6 years this year, I believe. I graduated in 2018. So yeah, this will be my 6th year in September of being a nurse. And that's crazy to me to say. Like I'll be 29 in like 6 days, because it is now July 1st. that I'm filming this video. But yeah, it's crazy to me that I've experienced a lot in those 6 years. I've truly experienced a lot. I'm not gonna cry again. I'm not gonna cry again. But I've truly experienced a lot, and I just want to just be a voice to inspire you all as nurses that that is not your permanent option. And don't ever let somebody make you feel bad if you want to leave. So 3 more things I want to mention about being an infusion nurse and how it's really improved like my day-to-day life is also a work-life balance. Like I mentioned before, I probably work between 24 to 30 hours a week. I work Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. On Mondays, I will work from home for a couple hours. Fridays, I'm off. I don't have to work on Mondays from home, but I will in order to kind of catch up on things if I don't want to have a long day on Tuesday. So I do not work holidays. Actually, this whole week, today's Monday, July 1st, as I mentioned before. This whole week, our physicians are out of town on vacation, so this whole week I get paid. I get paid 40 hours just to sit at home or go to Target or record this YouTube video. Like, I get paid to be at home. and be in my own space, in my peace. So that's amazing. I don't work holidays, I don't work weekends, and on vacation, like the times that they take vacation, the physicians, I cannot infuse patients when the physicians aren't there. So depending on what day the holiday falls on, so the whole week of Christmas I'm off, the whole week of New Year's I'm off, the whole week of Thanksgiving I'm off, and then this whole week of July 4th I'm off because the physicians are not there. So it's amazing. I get paid the whole week. It's amazing. So I love that aspect about it, that I don't have to work weekends or holidays anymore. So just to recap, health and fitness, discipline, my relationship, self-coping, work-life balance. And then there's two more that I want to talk about is safety and routines. So safety is a huge aspect within nursing. They talk about it like your first day of new grad orientation is safety and body mechanics and lifting patients. So safety is a huge thing within nursing in general. They talk about safety with patients. What's really not talked about is safety within yourself as a nurse. Safety from the hospital environment. If you don't feel protected by your managers or your leadership team, you already don't feel safe when it comes to patients, that is going to make your everyday work life very daunting, very anxiety provoking. So if you don't feel safe in your hospital environment, if you don't feel safe working in the hospital or working on your unit, you really need to think twice about continuing to work there, basically. There's other units within the hospital where you can definitely feel safe and protected, and that's so important. Like, I feel safe in my work environment. Safety is a huge thing for me personally, and if I don't feel safe in my work environment, I cannot function. Like, I cannot get tasks done. I can't. I don't know how you can function if you don't feel safe in the environment that you work in. That is so important. So if you start to feel like that, if you don't feel safe in your work environment, you don't feel protected, you don't feel heard, all of those things, then you definitely want to think about job searching, finding a different area to work in, finding a less heightened area. So maybe you work in the ER like I did. Maybe consider switching to a different specialty where you feel like that your voice can be heard. You feel like that you can feel more protected. That's so important. So, and then lastly, let's talk about routines. So routines, I really feel like that I didn't realize how much night shift really affected me. I worked night shifts starting out as a nurse, all the way, for the most part, I think I only worked like a couple day shifts. Like, I think I mainly worked like 5 to 5 or 3 to 3 or 7 to 7. Like, that was kind of my shifts. But I didn't realize how much working night shift really affected like doing mundane tasks. So going to Target, which I'm about to do after this, going to Target was such a huge task. Grocery shopping, cooking was a huge task. Having conversations was a huge task. Like, having conversations with my now husband was a daunting task because I was drained mentally, physically, alarm fatigue. Like, I just did not have time for anything or anyone. And I'm just so happy that now I work, for the most part, I work like a 9 to 5 kind of life. Working that type of shift helps me to get back to my own routines, enjoying the things that I love to do, like going to Home Goods and going to TJ Maxx and, just enjoying life. And working inpatient, working the night shift, I just did not have time. I didn't. And that was okay for that moment because I didn't have a husband, I didn't have a dog, like I didn't have the responsibilities I now have when I was working as a new grad or a newer nurse. So yeah, back then it definitely worked out for me, but the things that were important to me definitely shifted once I got married and once I had responsibility of a dog and all of that. So I knew that I was entering a part in my life where I wanted to settle down. I wanted something of a slower pace, and I just could not continue to give myself to working in the hospital because I was not able to give myself in any other ways outside of the hospital. And that was what was important to me. That is what I wanted to nourish and continue to grow. So to close out, you guys, I know it's been an emotional video and it's been intense. But hopefully you guys have learned and could take a lot from this video, because I truly feel like that you definitely clicked on this video for a reason. You were meant to be here. You were meant to hear my testimony and just kind of hear about my experience and kind of deciding between the two. Again, just to summarize, I do feel like that inpatient nursing is definitely needed for at least a year to grow your experience, but I do think that you have to understand that it is a short-lived opportunity. Unless you want to go back to school to be a nurse practitioner and you know you want to work inpatient, then that's obviously different. But for the most part, use bedside nursing as a tool. I cannot say it enough. Use it as a tool for your growth. And then once you grow to a certain extent where you feel comfortable and capable of making decisions, then leave. Just go and don't look back. So I encourage you all to join me in the comment section down below. I really want to hear from you all who have watched this video. Don't be shy. I definitely will reply to all the comments as well, but I just want you to share a couple things about yourself, a couple things about your nursing journey, whether you are an aspiring nurse or whether you're just starting nursing school, whether you have worked in the hospital for a long period of time. I just want to hear from you. I want us to all be able to just be vulnerable and just connect in the comment section, because you never really realize who you're helping. You never really realize who you're impacting until you shared your story. And I think truly for me, that is my ultimate goal with creating this channel and with being vulnerable about my experiences and what I've learned, is that I've truly been able to impact so many nurses. And I'm so grateful and so thankful to God for just helping me, giving me the strength, giving me the courage, giving me the confidence to continue to create videos and create content for you guys, just shedding light on that. So yeah, I just hope that you guys join me in the comment section and just kind of share your testimony and your experience. To all of my nurse babes that have been on this journey with me thus far, I thank you so much for watching this video, for always tuning in, always supporting me. You guys are exactly why I do this. You guys are the people that keep me going, the people who keep emailing me about their questions or, you know, their nursing journey. All of that just makes me so happy. And I truly thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope that it was meaningful and that it was helpful to you all and that you can gain something from it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone. Love you all.